Oh, it's got Wessex blades in England here. I've had one message the last couple of days, and along with 2 or 3 more the previous week, and it goes a lot to do with sharpening on stones and whether or not they're finding it easy. And what I wanted to do was try and demystify sharpening as much as possible in common man layman's terms. In order that you literally can get a good edge, okay, with a stone, or a good edge using a grinder, rather than you're struggling and you're not actually able to get any good edge, or you're getting horrendous burrs, or you're burning the steel. All I want to do is get your understanding or your appreciation of what you're actually trying to do, okay, and how you're going to do it. Okay, let's just start right from the beginning. What is a knife? Now I can get a piece of hardwood and I can grind it on my sander, and I can put a bevel on it, and I can go up to this piece of paper and I'll cut an envelope open. That's a knife. I could get a cheap ass piece of stainless steel. It's not cutlery grade, it's not a stainless steel that's anything to do with making knives or guillotine blades or anything like that. It's just a hard steel. I can grind an edge and it will cut stuff. Okay, a knife is literally something that powers its way through material with a minimum amount of damage over its use. It's a knife. Okay, axe blades is exactly the same. It's literally, what's the point of a flint knife? At that time it was the hardest thing they could find. This thing, oh, it's a sharp edge. If I keep doing that and then get it on the other side and keep doing that, I'll get a cutting edge. And if I'm gentle with it, I can keep it going. All we've got to do is replicate the way of making it to resharpen it, to regain it. That's all we're trying to do. If you had an edge to start with, how can you get an edge again? That's all it is. Now, if I've done a few little cheapy little sort of drawings here, it's just to tackle the different types of grinds there are on a knife, and I'll just do a few. All right, just completely simplify it all out for you. Now, not because it's the first one, I'm just doing this one first. Okay, a hollow grind knife, to which I go just personal preference. I leave all that banter to the forums. Okay, a hollow grind knife. There is the way to sharpen many hollow grind knives, including cutthroat razors. Okay, now the other thing I want to do is, when you see a knife on YouTube, on a website, in a catalogue, when you see this, you'll probably go, ooh. Okay, those in the know will go, okay, this is a piece of cheap ass 440 stainless steel. Okay, it's a bitch to get a good edge on it. It's not that great, but it's cheap as hell to make. Okay, cheap as hell to make. This won't bite like carbon steel. Okay, but it's easy and cheap to make. Can you see the grind? Okay, what the machine has done there. Hello? Hello, Jazzy Boo. Oh, you got your monkey hat on.
No monkey hat.
Oh, it's a teddy bear hat. We after Boogie Boo.
Mitchell needs help with his tripod trying to do a piano tutorial.
Okay.
Thing.
Catch you later. Mitchell's struggling with his piano thing. See you in a bit. There, boy. Perfect example of what I'm on about. All right. Mitch is there trying to film himself doing a piano tutorial. Avenged Sevenfold, I think it is, Afterlife or something, right? And he's trying to get the camera right above him, but the camera won't behind. If I can't work out with the legs how to get it above my head, how does it work? Because the TP affected legs is up against his shoulders and he can't. What are you trying to do, Mitch? I'm trying to get above my head. What do you need, Mitch? More height. But he won't do it. 3 chairs? Moving on. Just deconstruct what you're trying to do. So we got the tripod up on 3 chairs, which allows it to get higher, which allows him to get within the span of the front 2, which allows him to get an overhead. 3 chairs. Just simplifies everything. Okay, so this awesome knife, it's not, okay? If you're going to spend £10, I use it because it's a good pattern for a bowie, for size, length, stock thickness, where the ricasso is going to be, the size of the swedge, the clip, the handle length. It's a good template. It's stainless, it won't rust in my garage, hence why I bought it. It gives me ideas. It gives me ideas on balance. Is it good or not? As a knife, it's a load of crap. Okay? One of those reasons is because it's hollow ground, which for bushcraft has, you cut in and it will jam the further up it goes up the profile. It's just for it. I leave all that discussion to the forums or all that rest of it, okay? I like Scandis, they're alright, but I love Convex. Now the thing about sharpening a hollow grind, there is a hollow grind. Can you see? Here, there is the hollow grind as the blade was sharpened on a big round wheel with a belt on, or a big round wheel was made of stone. Hollow grind. That's how it was made. Now, the offshoot, the problem with that is you can't get a stone in there unless it's small, and you got to foul up against that, and a stone will only make it flat anyway if it's there. So a hollow ground knife will probably have a flat cutting edge, a single bevel cutting edge, a Scandi-ish bevel edge. Now the Scandi that people know as a Scandi goes from there to there, on the stone, on the flat of the blade, on the stone. It's simple. It can be sharpened in the field. It can be sharpened in the field using stones. You just grind them up together, get a flat spot. But all you got to do is touch at the very edge. You can just do it. The hollow grind, here it is. Generally what happens is you lie it as flat as you can get it, which means this section here, where the grind of the stone, the grind of the wheel is stopped. So there, as soon as you touch the flat, that bit rests on the whatever you're sharpening it on, be it a belt or a stone, and then the actual tip itself. So what that means is, if this was your stone, you sharpen it like that. But you can't see it, but the drawing was the hollow comes down like this to the thing, and the hollow is here, and it sharpens like that. Now, any steeper like that, and you'll put a really steep bevel on it. It can be done. It can be done like that. But for ease of sharpening, you'll know how to get the same angle every time. And the bit that you sharpen on the stone, which is just here, will gradually work its way up the blade. You'll get the same consistent angle on the stone every time, because as the tip wears, you rub it away on the shoulder as well, and it constantly goes like that. Now that's a cutthroat razor technique, and it's pretty useful. Now, if the first time you sharpen this, you literally could go on a belt or a stone and you could put something on it like that, it'd be right. But as you progressively move down through the hollow grind, right, hollow grind, what was a thin piece of steel up here on my eyeball is gradually as my eyeballs move down, it's going to get fatter and fatter. Well, you can't get that edge back that you put on it on the stone. It's getting fatter and fatter, so you might as well put it like that, just like a Scandi, just like a Scandi. Flat of the blade, up. Flat of the blade, up to the bevel. So the cutting edge is on the stone, and that bit on the shoulder there is what you're using as a guide. Okay, and you'll gradually wear that little bit away as you wear away the edge. Okay, first couple of times you're going to belt it, but eventually you'll run out of thin steel, so you might as well do it that way. So that's a hollow grind. Now, how do you feel it? Well, on that to there, you can feel it, you can hear it. It's rocking from the flat of the blade to resting on the edge and the shoulder. Flat of the blade, resting on the edge of the shoulder. And you just go like that. So, let's sharpen this up. Let's just see how this knife is. Okay? I hate these sort of knives. But, let's not let my prejudice mess it all about. You're not prejudiced. That's a bit of a complicated word for you, Williams. So let's put a coarse ass stone on this movie so you can see. As I say, this is a way to do a cheap ass hollow grained knife. I'm going to move it down so you can see what the actual blade is doing. Let's try that. How's that? Okay, right. Flat the blade, up to the bevel. Get a plunge line, that's this bit, as if you're just there on the edge of the stone. Okay, so I'm rubbing away the edge and the edge of this shoulder there. As good as you can with this cheap 99p stone. Now the other thing to think about is, if you're trying to put an angle on there, and it's a new angle you put in, there's nothing really stopping you going backwards and forwards. It's a lot quicker than all the time lost readjusting to go one way then another. It's getting there, but it's such a coarse edge to start with on these cheap ass hollow grind knives. Why is it taking so long to do it? Well, I expect it was a really coarse single bevel put on to start with. And I'm actually getting there now. I've created a new edge from the crap ass one they put on it. Let's say I'm putting on 6 degrees each side. It probably was 10 degrees either side. it's actually got an edge on there. Let's try and see if it'll take. That's the other thing. I actually like carbon steel compared with cheap stainless. Not bad. So what you should see, okay, is I've ground that shoulder away. There's the marklet. The shoulder, can you see that? Can you see that mark? That's been ground away, and I got a newish edge up there. And I probably brought the bevel down a bit as well. So I'll find something. Will it cut like carbon steel? No. No. But that has actually got, oh, there's a cheap bevel block there. Okay. And for cheap, and I mean a cheap £10 blade, that is far better than it was. Okay, so that's a hollow grind knife. Now you say, well, that's a cheap blade, but would I want to do that to my SOG Creed? Probably not. That's where those bevel things with the ceramic rods come in handy, stay sharps or something they call them, and you can access that thing without quite scuffing your shoulders up. I don't get hollow grind, I get stuff I can easily maintain. Okay, so that's a hollow grind knife. The next one come across is a chisel, and that's just simply dump the flat going like that. That's it. You just pull it flat. Thump. Now that's okay on a flat stone, but a lot of buffers, okay, with the compound, are round, so you want to leave that minimal because you'll end up slightly hollow grinding the very last little bit of the edge. Just the last little bit. Chisel grinds are easy. Now the chisel grind theory is what you do with a Scandi or a flat bevel, full flat grind or single bevel knife. It goes thump like that onto the stone. So let's try and find a single bevel knife. There's one. Okay, now you won't be able to sharpen this because it's made of plastic. Now, normally you grab something like that, it's almost flat. Okay, Mora, I think they're twin wheels or something, so it goes in full, but the wheels are so big it's practically Scandi, except for the fact you have a terminal edge as well. Okay, within 3 or 4 sharpenings of having this, and you go flat on a stone, you'll make it Scandi. It will just become Scandi. But they're actually, from what I've picked up, twin wheel ground, and then you put a micro bevel on the edge just to protect the thing. So not necessarily again bushcraft blade. Okay, I've picked this one out because the gunk I left on there, you should be able to see me clean it off. Okay, so the average bushcraft blade, flat ground. This one, if you look in the light, can you see that tiny little glint at the edge? Just there. Okay, so it's got a single bit, it's flat ground with a terminal bevel. Now, I wouldn't use this chewy stone on a blade like this. No, I'd get that. So what am I going to do here? Am I going to do the bevel, or I'm just going to do the edge? So if that's the flat, that's the blade, that's the flat, that's the terminal edge. to the camera. That was the flat. That was the bevel. That's the edge at the end. Flat, bevel, the edge at the end. So flat, bevel, up the tiniest amount. Just the very edge sharpened. Just the very edge sharpened. How quick was that? Okay. If I wanted to do the flat, which there's the blade, there's the bevel, I would actually remove a lot of steel. Okay, a lot of steel from this, trying to get that flat down to remove that last little bevel. I have sharpened it simply by going up that tiniest amount to just dress up that edge. Okay, easy. That's it. It is now sharp. Okay. If I went flat ground on this one, I'd have to lose that edge to make it a true Scandi, and I'd back up the edge. Can't be bothered on a knife like this. So to just sharpen it, blade, bevel, up that little bit, blade, flat blade, the bevel, just up that little bit. Okay, so same with the next stone. Now 6000 grit. You can hone it. Let's do a sharpening first. Flat, bevel, up that little bit. Blade, bevel, up that little bit. Blade, bevel, up that little bit. Bevel, up that little bit. Cool. Effortless. If I didn't faff about and just got on with that, a minute just to get the edge back. Now a rig profile is completely different because you've got to go to the machine and put a new grind on. Okay, all I'm doing is sharpening that edge, which I made into a flat. The blade, bevel, up a little bit. Blade, the bevel, up a little bit. Now if I wanted to hone it, because as I'm going up I might get a very slight burr, I can actually go like that and just go backwards on it like that. But why you do it on a stone, and you can do it on something that will give a little. So the strop is going this way, so all I'm going is boom, boom, leave the mess on there, and I just knew that would be amazing. All right, that is nothing to cut that at all. Literally from there's the flat, just that little bit of the bevel, no real pressure, gentle. Okay. Okay, and that's not anything special, that's just 01 tool steel. So it's very similar to bush laws and things like that. Okay, you've got a bevel, single bevel, with a slightly steeper cutting bevel on the edge. A true Scandi is like a chisel grind. It's just completely flat, and that's what you're doing. Right, now for the awkward ones. Convex. Now we've got to try and put a convex edge on something. Now, let's put a convex edge on this and sharpen this bleeder. Alright, how to put a convex edge on something? Use a slack belt section, which is this section here, or use a flat platen with something that gives behind it, so maybe a block of felt or something rubbery. Okay, slack belt section. Kukri shaped blade. And what I want to do is keep that as if it was straight all the way along. Boom, 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 boom. But it doesn't matter completely. You could literally go like that. Doesn't matter that much. If you've got the skill to do it. If you haven't, so or this kukri is so cheap ass, the cutting edge doesn't even start until here, so which is way up to about there. But you're actually addressing the blade onto the belt, or if you can't be bothered, just go like that, or just weaving around. It's good if you've got the room and if you can do it, but don't worry about it. That to there. Now, what may have put a new edge on it using a machine like this, but they don't necessarily need it. Okay, what do you need? A resilient surface that's got a flat edge, emery paper, wet it, goes onto your resilient surface, in a vise, like that. And obviously don't go at it crazy because you will cut the paper. Same theory again. If you think you're going to struggle trying to keep that blade attitude as if it's 90 degrees to the work and you're going all this trying to squat with the recurve, you don't really need to bother. You can just simply go like that. Just simply go like that. Lots in the same direction, not the end of the world, because you're only putting a new edge on. I could go like this. I know what I'm trying to achieve. And for a piece of crap stainless, now it has a cutting edge. Now, you're literally trying to get whatever that bevel angle is there matched to how you address it onto whatever your abrasive surface is. Whatever your abrasive surface is, wet and dry, because you can't afford £30 whetstones. Whether it's whetstones, because you can't afford £70 1x30, or you're lucky like me, you're given a 2x60, 2x72. It doesn't matter. What are you trying to achieve? I'm trying to get the tripod above my head so I can play the piano. Watch to see my hands. 3 chairs. What are you trying to achieve? I'm trying to get that edge ground again to what it was before. Obviously I'm removing steel, so it'll be slightly different, okay? But what are you trying to achieve? Well, if you've got your stones, you gotta go across the stones like this. If your blade's really big, you don't really need to worry about going all these funny shapes like that. Concentrate on the first third, the middle third, the last third, because when you strop it afterwards, it's not the end of the world. All right. The only thing is, if you're trying to resharpen a convex terminal bevel, because the convex cutting edge was done on a slack bevel, you'll have to do something like wet and dry on something that gives a little. So it just gives a little. Or you've got a slack belt section of a belt grinder. That's the only awkward one, is the convex terminal edge. But once you strop it, that's what'll blur it up anyway. Right? Now this is not the, what can I say, the forum based. This is the gospel. Okay. There's people out there, there's only one way to do something, this way. Here's my take on that. Yes, there's right tool, right job, absolutely. Okay, if you're going to drive a pin in, you use a pin hammer. If you're trying to pull a nail out, you use a nail puller. You know, use nail pliers or a claw hammer. You use a screwdriver, you slit, you'll stab it. All right tool, right job is definitely something, okay, to adhere to. But to put an edge on a knife, you're after something that will abrade this, wear this down, to give you a cutting edge that's even and will last and is not too chipped. So I could go and get a tungsten carbide router, okay, and just go the tungsten carbide is harder than the steel. The tungsten carbide router will eat away the steel and put a bevel on it all the way along. Is it a right tool for the job? Probably not, because you don't want the router bit to snap, share off, fly bits everywhere. It'll do the job. That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't matter whether you use wet and dry or a stone grinder. You can use what you got to get what you want to get. You understand? If you've got stones, what you're trying to do is use the stone to abrade the steel away. That's all you're trying to do. As long as the stone's harder than the steel. That's how we've evolved into doing it. Somebody found it out at some point, and that's why we use it. That's all it is. There's no mystery to it. I will find that carbon steel is easier to sharpen than stainless steel. Chrome's big lumpy bits in here. You just get into the thing of it. Sharpening videos, check out Kylie, check out Virtuo Voice. He's a Japanese guy who does the deer shooting and deer dressing. He's got some fantastic sharpening videos, but it's just trying to get the mystery out of it. What you're trying to do, you're trying to put an edge on a blade. The most complicated ones are really wobbly ones like this, if they've got a convex grind on the cutting edge, in which case you just need a little bit of give. Now the paper, wet and dry paper, will give a bit, so you're just literally trying to put an edge on it. That's all you're trying to do, redress the edge. If you've got hollow grind, it's probably okay. It's probably got a flat cutting edge on it. To sharpen it, you can go to the shoulder, which is that bit, and the edge flat on whatever you're going to go. That'll generally do it. If it's full flat grind, thumb, and for all these morars, for the first few things, you just go like that, and eventually you can either keep the edge you got, or you can make them scanty. There's so little still on those things, you can evolve it the way you want. The more you do it, the less it becomes a mystery. It is the sort of thing I'm trying to promote to you. If you've got a knife and you start constantly sharpening it, first of all ask yourself this: is it cheap ass stainless? Is it something that when the people look at it they go, oh, that's impressive? Because that isn't alright. It's just cheap. Just all these things, Bud K, okay? You want a knife to knock about, knock about, it's fine. But you want something that's a cutting edge, a proper cutting edge. Carbon steel, and really there's some pretty good stainlesses out there, alright? But you get something like this, you'll probably struggle getting an edge on it anyway. So that's the first thing you got to ask. Is not, are you doing something wrong? Have you got something that's going to be a bitch to get an edge on anyway? Okay? Some axes are really chunky, and you may not be able to have, literally, if you've got an axe, you're trying to do it on a puck, you will be a long time doing it. You need a bloody great grinder or something to put a good edge on an axe you've built, because half of them, they ain't got an edge on. That's the, you know, before you even start, hang on a second, no wonder I'm struggling. Get yourself something that's easy to sharpen. Learn how to sharpen that, and then once you begin to enjoy it, you might tune yourself into how you're able to sharpen something else that's a bit more of a challenge. Convex is a bit of a pig on an edge, because you need something that will give. But after a while, you can do it. You can do it. Honestly, you can do it. So if anybody else has got any questions, that's fine, you know. And there will be forum nuts who go, oh, yeah. Yes, there's some great little ceramic sharpener rods out there. But at the end of the day, if it's a rod, in attitude to the blade, is putting a flat edge on. Just putting a flat edge on. So whatever grind it was, whether it was a flat grind, hollow grind, or a convex grind with it's still only putting a flat grind on anyway. As you're there doing your ceramic rods, or you're putting them through on it and you draw it through like that. Your cheap ass stay sharp things that you get with a little crisscrossy bit and you go like that through in kitchen knives, it's just literally, you're just trying to draw it all the way through. That's what you're doing. That'll work on this. If you've got a cheap blade like that, and in the kitchen you've got one of those funny little kitchen devil stay sharp things, and if your blade fits through it, have a go. Just do that. Like a steel. And it's like butchers, if someone's a fishmonger, if someone's a butcher, 5% of their job is sharpening their knife. 5% of their job could be, and they'll sharpen that knife, and they'll sharpen this knife, and they'll clean it off and water, and then 2 minutes later do a different job. It gets to the point where they've just lost the edge, and sharpen it up again. Sharpen it up again, all the time. And it, to the point where they don't even hardly think about it, because they've done it before. There's no mystery to it. It's done. So, if you haven't got stones, you just need a piece of wood and some wet and dry, and literally have a go. Obviously when you go onto it, just think you don't want to cut through the paper, so you just allowing the paper to move and yield a bit as you're doing it, and as you grind those granules down, you'll get a better and better edge. You technically don't want to have to go, if you've chucked a piece of 240 down, by the time you ground it, it's almost like 320 anyway. because you made the part smaller and smaller, and you create a bit of a slick. Okay, so you can actually get quite a good edge just using one piece of emery paper, and wood will give a little. See where I'm at? So I hope that's helped anybody out there. Think about what your steel is to start with. Is it a piece of crap you're going to struggle with? And if it is, get something that you can have a play with to get better at. It's got from Wessex Blade. And as for plastic ones, never get edge on that. I'm sure you will.